Welcome again. It's Domain Dave from CheapWineFinder.com with another wine review podcast. Another cheapie. This one's from Trader Joe's. It's been around. I don't know how I missed it before. Let me grab it. It's a Bubbly, a Prosecco. Bubbly Prosecco Extra Dry. I think that's how you pronounce it. There's a comma in the middle of a word that always throws me off. So that's their Prosecco. It's a DOC Prosecco, extra dry. Extra dry means a little bit sweet, while dry means not sweet. So you'd figure extra dry means it's more not sweet, but I don't want to get into that because doesn't make any sense. But 2/3 of all Proseccos are made extra dry. They add a little bit of sugar to it. And if you're in Italy, everybody's drinking it extra dry. The reason, sometimes that, people in the United States of America, from which I am sitting, think that brut or dry is better because the best champagnes are brut, and the drier the better. The really expensive ones have very little sugar in them. So, it's like, dry is the way to go because that's how champagne goes. But Prosecco, which is the Glera grape, needs a little bit of sugar to give the flavors a little bit of a boost. And it rounds off the natural acidity in the grapes because you don't want the acidity to bite. So a little bit of sugar gives a little more flavor and a little less acidity, which is good, you would think. I'm going to take a sip of this thing and we'll talk about it. Most of the Prosecco region is DOC. I think it's Department of Control, is the translation. And there's rules and regulations. They go down to how you can grow the grapes in the vineyards and what the yields are, then how you make it and all that. And then in the middle, there's Val di Albeni, I think it's pronounced. It's got way too many B's in it. And that's a really hilly area, and that's DOCG. And then one of the corners is another Azola, another DOCG. And those are special areas, and the G stands for guarantee, and they have even higher levels of controls on them. And G is guaranteeing the quality, though it's not going to guarantee that you're going to like it better. And in this price range, this was $7.99, a really nice price for a good bubbly. I can never tell the difference between a DOC and a DOCG wine. I mean, a lot of times, what makes the difference is how they Prosecco goes through two different fermentations. In each Prosecco house does the first fermentation in their own way to get some flavors in there. Second, the second fermentation, you're not really adding all that much flavor. You're adding bubbles and you're making it creamier, and you're giving it, some other characteristics, but the house styles in the first fermentation. And with Prosecco, they ferment the wine once, and they pour it in these huge pressurized vats. Add some sugar, add some yeast, crank the pressure, and in a few weeks to a few months, you got bubbly. And the less expensive ones tend to be a few weeks, 3-4 weeks, and the more expensive ones tend to be several months. And with champagne, which they do everything in the bottle, they ferment the wine, pour it in the bottle, add yeast and sugar to each other, and put a top around there. And a year and a half later, after turning it a quarter turn like every 2 days, then you're done. And there you get bubbly. But with this, that's kind of like Renaissance technology, and these big vats, pressurized vats, are industrial age technology, so it doesn't take as much time. You still get the bubbles. Actually, this wine has really solid bubbles. They're small, and there's plenty of them. I'm taking another sip. Trader Joe's doesn't tell me anything about this wine, but I'm assuming that this is one of the wines that was in the vats for a few weeks rather than a few months. Don't know that to be true, but it tastes that way. The longer in there, the creamier it gets, and usually they have more pronounced flavors. I mean, from the first fermentation, they try to make it different than a regular DOC one. So this is just one of those really nice, well-rounded, easy to drink Prosecco wines. It's got nice flavor. It's nothing fancy. The acidity is balanced. That sugar adds a little bit of sweetness in the end. There's some nice mingling of flavors. This is a solid little wine. There's nothing not to like about it. And at $7.99, it's pretty good. Trader Joe's imports this in the United States, and I've seen it in other countries. It's it's all over Europe under its own brand, same name. But here it's a legit label. This, Trader Joe's just has the rights for it here, and it's a solid. I was going to say middle of the road, but it's not. It tastes really good. It's a solid, tasty little wine. It's unassuming. It's not going out to be your favorite sparkling wine for New Year's Eve or anything, but it tastes great. Just another sip. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those bubblies that you're going to be maybe taking sips a little bit more than you think about, because it's saying, hey, take another sip from me. It's got nice acidity. It kind of beckons you a little bit. That's it for me. This is unassuming but really good Cabela Prosecco Extra Dry. Don't fear extra dry. Get your champagnes dry, but your Prosecco's a little sweet. I think that's the way to go. If you like your Prosecco's dry too, that's fine. It's all personal preference, but a little sweetness, I think, for Prosecco is a good thing. So adios. This is Domain Dave, cheapwinefinder.com. Like us where you like your podcast, if you will. Stay safe, stay warm, stay dry, or whatever it is out there, and I'll be talking to everybody in a little bit. Adios. Keep it cheap. Bye-bye.